Hello and welcome to College Survival 101. This video is courtesy of the Indiana Commission for Higher Education and Learn More Indiana, which is a partnership of state and local organizations working to help Hoosiers of all ages complete education and training beyond high school, and the Indiana Youth Institute, a statewide nonprofit that promotes the healthy development of Indiana children and youth by serving the people, institutions, and communities that impact their well-being. The video was also developed by the National Center for College Costs, which is an Indiana-based organization that provides innovative programs and products that help students and their parents prepare for higher education. The point of this video is to equip you with the knowledge that will help make you a successful college student, no matter what school you end up going to. In this video, we're going to cover tips on how to make a successful transition to college and actually make it to that degree. We'll also summarize the 3 key secrets to success in college. But first, we need to lay some important groundwork. Throughout this presentation, please feel free to click pause on the video viewer so you can take time to study the information on the screen. Once you're finished, click play and continue through the video. It all starts with attitude. So what are some attitudes that hinder success? First is the I can't syndrome. Don't cave in to the I can't syndrome. Keep in mind that you can get a degree, but you have to stay positive. Next is the I don't care attitude, which can hinder success, so care about your education, your homework, your books, your friends, your professors. Care about it all. Next is closed-mindedness. Closed-mindedness can hold you back, so keep an open mind when making new friends or joining new groups or having new experiences. Next is fear of taking chances. Don't fear taking chances. Embrace them, because then you'll gain new experiences or new perspectives. Lack of motivation. This can keep you from being successful, so remember what initially motivated you to go to college in the first place, or find something new to motivate you. Your family, passion, personal goals, etc. And lastly, don't let anxiety get the best of you. Be your own advocate. There are many people and resources on a college campus where you can get help, no matter what the stressor is. For instance, help with coursework can be found from the professor's teaching assistant or the course professor him or herself. You may also want to visit the Academic Resource Center, where they may have tutors available to help you. And don't forget to talk with your classmates or join a study group. If you have questions about graduation requirements, seek help from your academic advisor, the registrar, or the academic dean. If you're having trouble paying your bill or have a question about your scholarship or financial aid award, schedule an appointment to meet with a financial aid counselor. If you're having roommate troubles, go see your residence hall advisor, the residence life staff, or the dean of student services. If you're feeling under the weather, go to the university's health center. If you're just stressed out and need to talk to someone, go talk with staff in the counseling center. Many colleges offer counseling services for their students and may offer free visits. There are people and resources available to point you in the right direction and help you handle what may seem like a tough situation. Don't forget that your parents and family want you to be successful, and be sure to continue communicating with them in some way. And lastly, utilize mentors. These can either be people close to you, such as community members or family members, a mentor from a program at the college you attend, etc. We encourage you to connect with not just one of these resources, but a combination of some or all of them, so you are completely successful in college. In this age of technology, colleges will communicate with students via the internet. You'll probably need to register for classes online, pay your bills via your college account, and find important deadlines on the school's website. You must use email and check it frequently. Now we'll introduce the 3 key secrets to college success. If you do these 3 things, we'll stop just short of guaranteeing you'll earn a college degree. First is go to class every day. No matter how tired you may be, get out of bed and go to class. Pay attention, take good notes, and you should do just fine. Of course, the more time you spend on coursework outside of class, the better your grades are apt to be. When academic standing committees meet on the college campuses to decide which students will be dropped from school because of poor grades, the vast majority of these students had erratic class attendance patterns because too much partying the night before, illness, lack of motivation, etc. Whatever the situation, they just weren't showing up to class enough and their grades suffered. Next is academics first, then play. Get your academic work done first, then go play. For many college students, the hardest adjustment is being totally free of direct supervision. Many struggle with finding the balance between their academic and social lives. Heck, any new student especially wants to be accepted and make friends. Saying no sometimes can be hard, but it's even harder to try to dig out of an academic hole late in a semester when a student has fallen behind and now has to really struggle to catch up. It's definitely not a pretty picture, and the stress level is usually really high. So academics first, then play. Find one, not 5 or 6, activities on campus to get involved in. It doesn't matter whether you live on campus or commute. It can be something you have done in high school, like a fall sport or something you're interested in, but have just never had the opportunity to do, say work at a radio station. It really doesn't matter what it is. What this will do is bring you together with other students who have similar interests. By doing this, you're pretty much more apt to put down roots at the college and develop friendships and perhaps even study buddies. Do these 3 things and you should have a very successful college career. Good luck. First off, every college has a master calendar of very important academic deadlines. Be sure to get that. Notice that classes in this example begin on August 20th, and you have a week to adjust your schedule without penalty. In other words, if the math class you are taking seems to have you in way over your head, you might want to change your schedule and get in a lower level math course. Talk with your professor about your situation first. Most colleges will also require you to discuss this possibility with your academic advisor and get a signature from them indicating they support the decision. In this example, October 10th is the last day to withdraw from a course. This means if you're failing or have a low grade, you may drop the class without the grade appearing on your transcript. But be careful. Remember that you need 30 credit hours completed by the end of your first year, 60 credit hours completed by the end of your sophomore year, and 90 by the end of your junior year to be eligible for the full 21st Century Scholar Award, assuming you meet the other criteria for this award as well. You must complete 24, 48, and 72 credit hours in order to be eligible for the full-time Frank-O'Bannon Base Award, and 30, 60, 90 credit hours for the on-time Frank-O'Bannon Base Award. For further information on the Indiana Financial Aid grant eligibility and award levels, watch the video Indiana Financial Aid Overview in this series, or go to the state website at www.in.gov/SFA. If you want to study this slide in more detail, we encourage you to pause the video at this time. Just click play when you're ready to continue. A week in the life of a college student. You need a calendar each week so you know where you need to be and when. Here's a sample week for a student. It looks much different than a high school calendar, right? There's much more free time, which makes it even more important to have a schedule and to stick to it. You may not be in class as many hours as you were in high school, but plan on spending even more time studying. Take a moment to pause this video and study the sample weekly schedule. Speaking of differences between high school and college, how are those expectations different? How do college expectations differ from high school expectations? What do you do if you read the syllabus and think, whoa, I am in over my head? How can syllabi vary among different professors, and how can you manage all of the different expectations they will have of you? What differences or similarities are there between online and classroom-based courses? We'll touch on each of these in the following slides. The first step in understanding these expectations is to read the course syllabus, which your professor should give you the first day of class. So let's take a look at a couple different class syllabi. If your professor doesn't offer a course syllabus, ask for one. A good course description will lay out the key dates for the semester, dates for papers due, exams, and any out-of-class required activities, as well as the professor's expectations regarding class attendance, grading, and other policy issues. Read it carefully all the way through to see if you have any questions. Here are excerpts from two different professors' course descriptions. Feel free to pause the video to take your time looking over the course descriptions. In this first one, notice the research paper will count double any other paper or exam. So it can either help twice as much or hurt twice as much. So this is an assignment you want to be prepared for well ahead of time. Also notice the ambiguity of the class attendance policy that may, not will, result in the lower of 2 grades. Chronic absences may have more serious consequences. The professor here needs to explain why it says may. Important note, be sure to not only read all the way through the course description, but also skim through the textbook if there is one. You want to be able to see if you are in over your head while you are still in the drop-add period, sometimes called the adjustment period. This is the relatively short period, usually about 7 to 10 days depending on the college, where you can drop a class and add another one in its place. After that, all you can do is drop, and that potentially may affect your financial aid, state grant eligibility, etc. Remember that if you are eligible for a state grant and want to receive the largest amount possible, including the 21st Century Scholarship, you must complete 30 credit hours by the end of your first year in college, 60 credit hours by the end of your second year, and 90 credit hours by the end of your third. So when you drop a class, be very careful to be sure you have time to make up the credit hours during the current state grant calendar year. Now let's compare the last one with a second course description. Again, you may wish to pause the video to take your time looking at this syllabus. Notice that the professor's strong focus on class attendance and the need to do your reading ahead of time. A third professor may never take attendance. The attitude is almost like, if you want an education, come to class and get one. If you don't, it's no skin off my nose. But every professor is different, so you have to know how they respond. Another important note, at the first sign of trouble, something you don't understand, immediately see the professor to get a better understanding. Since coursework often builds on an earlier understanding, don't let things snowball. Most academic departments have upper-class students who are strong in their particular discipline, who they pay to be tutors of students in lower-level classes. If you need help with your writing, most colleges have a writing center you can turn to. Use your academic advisor to make a referral if need be. If you are having issues with financial aid, please see your financial aid office immediately. If you're dealing with personal problems or pressure, see the staff in the counseling center. Again, just don't let things snowball and begin to overwhelm you. Remember, you're paying these folks to teach you and to work with you, so get in there and get the help you need. Your college degree is too important for your future. Don't let anything jeopardize it. The next few screens will walk you through a typical college semester calendar. Starting with August, check out the opening day for students and the adjustment period, which is the time you are able to make adjustments to your schedule. This is a very important time, so make sure you know when the adjustment period ends. Now let's go to September. Now you can see classes are in full swing, and this student thought ahead and put all of the important dates from her class syllabi onto a calendar. Look at September 12th. Now that's a tough day. But look more closely. The English essay number 2 and the psychology assignment can be done ahead of time. That's still an important day with 2 tests, but this is how to plan for and manage a semester schedule. And if you have a professor that doesn't have a course description and schedule, ask periodically if he or she is planning for any upcoming assignments or tests. The last thing you need is a surprise addition to days like September 12th. Now let's check out October. A really important date here is October 10th, the last day to withdraw from a course. We never encourage a student to drop a class because it may hurt your state grant award amount if you're receiving state financial aid. But especially your first semester of freshman year, if you have one class that is impossible despite your best efforts, It's okay to seek the guidance of your academic advisor and possibly withdraw from class. Remember, in order to receive state grant money for following years, you must complete at least 24, 48, 72 credit hours, but you have the option to use the summer to do so. And if you want to receive the maximum amount, you must complete 30, 60, 90 credit hours for the maximum amount. In fact, the 21st Century Scholar student must reach the 30, 60, 90 credit hour completion level in order to continue receiving their full award. Getting back to the calendar, most of the important dates to put on your personal calendar, as mentioned before, can be pulled from your course syllabi. Other important dates can be pulled from your college or university's academic calendar. Another important factor, in addition to going to class, managing your time, studying, hanging out with friends, etc., is being aware of your finances. For the students who may be watching this, don't just leave this up to your parents to do. Everyone needs to know what college costs and how you're going to pay for it. Here's a sample worksheet that you could create to help understand all of the charges and financial aid. Pause the video to take your time looking at the screenshot. When you are ready, click play and move forward. Here's the backside of the worksheet. It is important for you to do something similar to this every academic year because the tuition and mandatory fees often change annually, and your grant and scholarship amounts could change as well. Again, we can't stress to you enough the importance of managing your financial aid. If you get into a situation where you're presented with a bill and you don't know how to pay it, immediately contact your school's Office of Financial Aid and talk about your options. At the end of the first year of college, a group of students were asked to give advice to incoming students based on their experiences. Here is what they shared. Click pause and read through some of this advice. A note to parents and guardians and mentors. Your role in your student's life may be changing because of FERPA laws. This means parents and guardians will not be sent a copy of the student's grades. Parents, guardians, and mentors need to understand they cannot access any information about the student unless the student signs the necessary paperwork. Even though you may be paying for part of their education, the Financial Aid Office will require permission from your student in order to discuss their financial situation. Now, unless your child is an exceptional student, first semester freshman year will not be the best semester academically. It really is an adjustment for most students. We heartily recommend that you do not put pressure on for specific grades. The greater the difference between parents' expectations and the students' actual performances, the greater the stress level for the students, and the greater the chance the student will leave school and be living at home for the rest of their lives. Sometimes just knowing the resources and making sure your student knows them can help alleviate a tough situation. And most importantly, remember to communicate with your student the way it works best for both of you. It might be a text message once in a while or an email, but sometimes it is important to hear their voice. In summary, students, remember that you are going to college for an education. This means not just learning in the classroom, but you're learning to solve problems, to think independently, to be open-minded, to act responsibly, and to use resources and staff at the college to answer questions. The staff at schools won't have a job unless they are utilized, so keep asking for answers to your questions. They want you to be successful, and so do we. We hope you find these tips helpful.